Good evening. Good evening, performers, and good evening to friends who come to view this September edition of our virtual Poetic license. This is an open mic featuring original poetry, solo acoustic music, story, and spoken word performance. My name is Donna Scheer, and it is my great pleasure to host this evening, especially because it's autumn, which is my favorite time of year. We want to give a special thanks to Andrew Richards for trailblazing the path through this virtual format. And thank you, FCTV, for all the wonderful, vibrant programming. If you like artwork, visit the virtual gallery at FCTV. Do you need COVID information? Watch the weekly update from the Falmouth Health Department on FCTV. Do you need assistance with preparing an event for your group or your business? Well, then visit production and streaming services. There's Falmouth in Focus, The Conversation, and that's just a taste of all the wonderful programming. That information and more is available on the FCT website, fctv.org. But right now, the great big event that's taking place is a joint FCTV and Rotary auction. Fabulous fundraiser. It's going to be October 4th from 4 to 8 p.m. And it's safe because you register, you browse, and you bid online. It's a secure online platform. Let me just read a few of the auction items. 2-night stay at a suite at the Riverwalk Resort, Loon Mountain in New Hampshire. A personalized virtual comedy show hosted by a professional New York City stand-up comedian. Pair of diamond hoop earrings in sterling silver. Golf packages, gift cards, more stuff. So that's going to be October 4th, 4 to 8, fctv.org. And the funds that are raised are going to go to many wonderful programs via the Rotary Club. Of course, the easiest way to support our mission is to become a member. An individual membership annually is only $30. What could be better? So now, ladies and gentlemen of courage and creativity, on to the performances. When I read your name, unmute your mic, and please repeat your name again so that the audience really hears it. You'll have a 4-minute time slot for your creative share. Andrew keeps track of the time because we strive to share our time equitably. The edited performance will be shown on FCTV's Channel 13 as well as its YouTube channel. I'm going to start the night off with a poem, and I'll close at the end of the evening. Again, I'm Donna Scheer. I am a Falmouth poet, a retired kindergarten teacher, and a jazz singer. Right now, the saddest thing is that we can't travel much, but I write every morning, and I love sitting and visualizing the places that I've been before I write about them. So tonight I'm going to begin with a poem called New Hampshire Ramble. This forest does not hoard its glory. Carpets of sponge, granny, apple green. Fern-fronded path fondly points the way past humpbacked rocks as they doze, felted under a coverlet of sun-freckled lichen. Through indigo grapes and flowers wild about the coming of autumn. Above clouds that shapeshift, play tag across a field, cornflower blue. And of course, the river. Always the river. Its raspy whispers and foamy hallelujahs sinking deep, rising into dreams. I swear if I stood firm my wistful soul would grow roots out the bottom of my souls. All righty. So let me get my roster here. And next, we have our new friend, Sarah Maria Allenby. Welcome again, Sarah Marie.
Thank you. Sarah Maria Allenby, out in Wacoit, Massachusetts. It would appear I write a lot of poetry to my children or about birthdays. So, here we go. So this was Ash Wednesday, homesick with Theo. And this is what is meant by the ashes and the dust, as I wipe the dust off the floor of my son's closet and go through his clothes that don't fit anymore, as he grows and changes and moves up. Is it the dust of taking care of the one you love while he's home, not feeling well? Loving him, cuddling him, feeding him, giving him the medicine, to make him well, to heal his bones, his flesh, to be here in this one moment, in this one life with him, and try to make him well? And then at the very end, it's all over, and all we are is dust. It's only these moments that get to count. All the others are filler. And then about my firstborn son turning 17 in quarantine. At 17, life's not exactly what it seems in times like these. We breathe and celebrate the beauty that is you, my firstborn son, who taught me how to be a mom from the day you were born to now at 17. This time with you has been such fun, extraordinary moments, leaning in to watch you grow and get ready to go. Life isn't all it seems at 17, a blue-eyed boy with dancing blues, a smile so right, a wit so bright, with hopes and fears and love through tears at 17. What could it all mean? You are my heart. And this year I got to turn 55, so I got to write a poem about that. If I were to write a poem about turning 55, what are the words I would use? Alive, thrive, and strive? I feel most days alive, and I thrive. What about the words drive or five? Drive. I can't drive 55, thanks, Van Halen. Or it's the 5th. I'm turning 55 on, after all. Or would I use words like hive and jive? Sometimes my life feels like those too. Too bad words like give and live, pronounced live, don't rhyme with 55. I guess I'll have to settle with I've learned so much. It passed so quickly. I still have a million things to get done. It sure has been fun. And I'm going to live fully, freely, vulnerably into the next 55.
Yay, Sarah Maria. Very nice. I love the two. What a wonderful tribute to your son. You know, and it's a gift to him for you to write about him. It's awesome. Thank you so much. Next up is Lynne Viti.
Hello, I'm Lynne Viti, and I'm going to read a few poems from my new book, which I will hold up, Dancing at Lake Montebello. It will be out on October 1st. The first one is called Matinee at the Shore. At the candy store near the whitewashed movie house, we spent our nickels on cream caramels and fireballs, stuffed the small bags of sticky sweets into our pockets. We pulled our t-shirts down to hide the evidence. Don't go on the Ferris wheel or the tilt-a-whirl. Sit downstairs at that movie house, the mothers warned, as my older friend and I set out for Division Street. Duane was a tough girl from Dundalk, sassy, full of questions. I was 3 years younger, only half listened to the mother's rules. Separate sections, balcony, different customs down here. Ensconced in her booth, the ticket lady asked our ages. Duane hesitated. She was tall, looked 12. That meant an adult ticket, 50 cents. All but our last quarter each was gone. We were lucky that day. The woman didn't fuss. She tore 2 gray tickets off the roll, never smiled. I followed Duane's long legs up the wooden staircase, dragged my hand on rough painted wallboards as we went. The candy bag bulged in my pocket. Laughter met us at the landing. Empty seats surrounded us. I didn't like to sit far from others in a dark theater, even for comedies. Duane said, "We can't mix." We'd already broken one law, no candy inside the movies. I felt we might as well break another, but I didn't say a word. After the newsreel, the screen turned to color. Every soul in the balcony cheered, but I slid down low in my seat, stuffed another caramel into my mouth. This next one is the title poem, Dancing at Lake Montebello, and this is set in Baltimore. That's a man-made lake in the middle of the city. The road at night was ours. We sang happy birthday to you, who cajoled us to dance around the edges of the reservoir in the headlights of our parked car at midnight. Friday nights, we glued ourselves to the sofa in your family's den. You explained who Oscar Levant was, why we should be amused by his patter. We heard Monk play jazz in a black box theater. You steered us to the best Chinese food in town. You schooled us. This is how we first saw the world, splayed open before us, for us. This is a poem I wrote when I saw on Facebook that one of my sister's college friends had retired. I hadn't seen him probably since he was, well, the poem tells the story. Murphy in August. Those without air conditioning in the dog days found cold shelter in the neighborhood movie houses. On such a night, we collected you from the bus station, fresh from your years in Freiburg, long-haired, beaded, last off the bus. You schlepped a backpack and your guitar. Came for one last party before we had to grow up. By the time you came down to Baltimore, we were cutting our hair, dressing for success. You were the last to dip your toe into adulthood, trade your busker's license for a programmer's desk. That humid night, the 60s were over, the 70s half gone. The moving sidewalk didn't care who was left behind. You hopped on to job, a marriage, 2 kids, and a 401k. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Wow, October 1st, did you say was the publication?
Yes, and it'll be available on Bookshop at Apprentice House Books of Loyola University, and I'm kind of trying to steer people away from Amazon. So Bookshop, if you don't know about it, is a wonderful thing. They spread a lot of the profits around to independent bookstores throughout the country. So look it up, Bookshop. And they just started in January. So they're really kind of a cool operation.
And can you give us the title again? You said it was
Dancing at Lake Montebello.
Lake Montebello. Thank you so much.
Thank
How wonderful.
Thank you.
All right, next. Oh, a new friend, Tzynya.
Yes.
Yay.
Awesome.
Yay. Good to see you.
Good to be here. Thanks. Yes, my name is Tzynya Pinchback, and I'm going to read 2 odes tonight. The first one is an ode to my uncle, who was a pioneering musician in the field of go-go music, and it's titled Blood Held Tight in a Roach Clip. For Lloyd Ashley Pinchback. Tall tales of these brothers score my youth. Nimble escapes from trouble, outpacing a twister with a slick pigeon-toed two-step, the dirt road and loaf of soda bread, or was it a blue tint milk bottle, the only things sacrificed to its funnel? Fortuitous stumbles into magic, and ear so tuned to pitch, a note fingered on flute, mimics the tremolo of a loon, the eye one breath from blindness fails to catch. You should know I am song of pinchback men. You should know I speak your name, a ripe plum in my mouth. Black, with skin rice paper thin and alabaster, your teeth cut on the heels of Jim Crow, licked by the fire of black resistance. It's all in your music, the rapid fire staccato, bellyache scat of it, clapback gobbledygook wah-wah and mumbo-jumbo of it, the hum and the moan of it, the string, the reed, the bell, the play and break of it, the giggle, snatch and croon, curse, relent and release of it, the flush of reefer, scald of hot water cornbread, bow-legged men and wide-hipped women of it, matted afros, back fat and lips turned hot like sun of it. Give me 5 on the black hand side. Hoof prints from the horseman's steed turned loose, its damn metronome, foot stamping into the flame once more and again, always in time of it, always in time. You should know I am song of pinchback men. You should know I speak your name a blossom on my tongue because beauty is danger, is art, is danger, is love, is danger, is witness, way through towards the roar of the cymbals, hiss, hiss, hiss. And for my second ode, it's just an ode to the mundane. Let me dream when there is longing of your work shirt, long-sleeved, buttoned down, white or maybe blue cotton twill carrying your sandalwood scent. Draped over a chair, the summit of a mountain of laundry next to the hamper, peeking out from the mesh dry cleaner bag, squat against the door to the garage. Of lying in bed midweek, you rattling off a list of to-dos and damn if it isn't always something that needs fixing. The kids' overbite, window screen shredded by squirrels, leaky kitchen faucet. When my feet find your leg in the tangle of blankets, and in no time you are pulling me close. My hands on your face, your fingers undoing my braided hair, and that old work shirt tied at my waist. Of standing at the kitchen sink, brushing dirt from just picked root vegetables, my glasses coated in the steam dancing off a covered pot, sweat like small glass beads shimmering on my nose. When I catch a glimpse of the remote control in your hand and remember your favorite work shirt, the button missing from its threadbare cuff, and reach into the junk drawer to retrieve my sewing needles and a spool of white thread. Thank you.
Oh, Tzynya, that first one. I love songs about music, and you can just about dance to that first one. So, that was so awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice first visit here. Thank you. All right, next we have Susan Beth Carlson.
You mean I have to go after her? That was amazing. That was so beautiful. This just came to me this morning. This is just one poem. The birdies and butterflies that often populate my poetry were watching the news with me this morning, and that's where this came from. Ascent. 6 months of solitary refinement have brought me to the brink, though I've been told again and again not to believe all that I think. It's what I feel that shows what's real and finds me here within a cage, twisted up inside confusion found within a nation's rage. Isolation in a nation filled with power plays and fear. What should connect instead dissects us, breaking all that we held so dear. 'Tis the united lies in state, and states divided within walls. We accomplish more together when we heed each other's calls, calls for justice, for compassion, and for fair and human touch, instead of power and corruption and computer hacks and such. If we go forward in this journey, finding wings of hope to hold, it will be because together we assent to still grow old. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you, Susan. Boy, I wish I could watch the news with birds and bees and bunnies and butterflies. Might be able to get through it much better. Thank you. Beautiful as always. All right, John Jackson, you're up.
All right. My name is John Jackson. This is my usual muse, limericksofprotest.com. It's been a difficult time writing limericks about the current events, so we'll try one or two. COVID death toll in my native land now exceeds 200 grand. The nationalist thirst for America first takes us places I do not understand. Here's a quick limerick I wrote. It's simple and easy to quote. Whether you like status quo or want the scoundrels to go, make your choice, get a ballot, and vote. Now, Donna, after my mother, my number one, my first fan, saw last month's episode, she said, "Tell Donna Scheer I say hi." So, B. Vincent says hi.
Oh, wow.
And she said, maybe Donna won't remember me, but she'll remember Sam Vincent.
Yes, I do. I remember them both.
Sam,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I worked for Sam for many years.
So I know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so Sam was my stepfather. And I was thinking about this after talking to my mom and said, well, here's something I could dust off. I wrote this on October 3rd of 2004 for Sam's memorial service. Sam was a long time resident of Falmouth. Eel Pond, Woods Hole. There is an MBL dormitory called Swope. Before there was Swope, there were 3 cottages, Doe, Ray, and me. Sam lived most of his childhood in the cottage Ray. He was a mariner, a long-time fisherman, boatsman. He was the only survivor of a shipwreck in a storm, which took his father and brother on a fishing boat. So when he passed, my mother said, we're not burying him. And I don't care if it's not strictly legal, we're going to toss his ashes into Woods Hole, into the channel. And so that's what we did. At the time, I was trying to play guitar, and this was the best thing I ever did. And I have given up on guitar. Sorry, Larry. It's all yours tonight. So here's a little blues. Sam is gone, back where he wants to be. Sam is gone back to the sea. Wouldn't be happy stuck on land. You know, Sam say, well, I'll be damned. But I know you all know, St. Peter at the gate say, no, that ain't so. Sam is gone, find his wife and his daughters. Sam is gone, find a hole in the waters. Gonna let those Atlantic tides take old Sammy for a ride. Remember Sam's love and devotion as he goes from ocean to ocean to ocean. Sam is gone, put him back to the sea. Sam is gone, the way it seems to me. Shouldn't put him in the ground, the right gravesite can't be found. Takes too much time and dedication to find the right location, location, location. Sam is gone. Thank you.
Oh, how beautiful. How beautiful. I remember Sam telling me he used to rowboat over to the Woods Hole School when he was young. So I know right where he was.
Yeah.
What a nice tribute. Thank you.
Thanks.
And please say hi to B back for me, okay?
I will, definitely.
All right. Lee Drescher, you're here. And
I am here.
yay!
It's nice to be here. I'm going to sing you a song I wrote about the ocean. And even though summer is over, the ocean is still here and the waves are still rolling in and out. Rolling waves, break along the shore. Rolling waves, evermore. Majestic tides are rising high to where the ocean meets the sky. Receding tides are falling low, revealing secrets from below. Rolling waves, like along the shore. Rolling waves, evermore. The silver fishes swim the sea, astride an ocean of mystery. They meander to and fro with the current and the flow. Rolling waves, break along the shore. Rolling waves, evermore. The fickle ocean can change its mood from shining calm to murky brood. Sparkling ripples can transform to foaming fury in a storm. Rolling waves, break along the shore. Rolling waves, evermore.
Thank you, Lee. Aren't we lucky to live on Cape Cod and have the ocean as our muse?
We certainly are.
Really. Thank you so much, darling. Good to see you.
Nice to be here.
All right, Joann Nadeau.
Hi there. So I brought two poems tonight, and most of my writing lately has been influenced by the spotlight on racial injustice that we're seeing so much right now. And it's nothing new, but I think we're seeing more of it because there's more cameras out there. So the first one I'm going to read is called Painted Wall. A white woman jogs down the street. She stops to watch a black man painting words on his wall. This is not her neighborhood. She doesn't know the man. Yet for some unknown reason, she believes her America needs her. She speaks. Words escape her lips. Pleasant words with barbed thorns that cut, that pierce. She speaks to the man painting words on a wall. You cannot do that here, she says to him, standing like a superhero in a comic strip. He dips his brush into the paint, examining his work. She speaks louder as he paints. I understand your cause, she sneers, but you can't write on that wall. The man looks at the house, standing silent. He looks at the bricks on the wall of the house and the words he chose to write. He pulls his cap down, turns his back to her, and paints. She's yelling now and has drawn a crowd. They watch. They wait. No one speaks, only the white woman. What is your name? She screams at him. His calm demeanor adds fuel to her smoldering temper. She knows she is not the problem. There are laws that uphold civility. She believes in those laws. He is the problem. He finishes his work, asking her, what is your name? A simple question that turns her white face red, the color of fury. I will call the police, she says. She jogs away, her phone like a weapon already at her ear. The man turns to the silent crowd. They stop recording. They put down their phones. He looks in their eyes. I'm going home now, he says. He turns his back on the crowd and walks through the iron gate. The people watch. A Greek chorus whose song in this tragedy will show up as sound bites on Twitter or Facebook. The man walks through the iron gate and the red painted words on his wall. Black Lives Matter. And the second poem I have is called Sitting at the Counter. And in 1964, the Civil Rights Act was passed, making segregation of public places illegal. This poem takes place in 1960. Sitting at the counter. High school girls clamber off the bus. Blue blazers tossed in backpacks. Barbie doll curls coiffed and combed. They sashay into the revolving doors of Woolworths in my small New England town. I'm one of those girls, spinning on a red vinyl stool, ordering French fries and a Coke. A weekly ritual in 1960, like Saturday night sock hops or Sunday morning mass. Winter, 1960. Greensboro, North Carolina. 4 Black college students Young men, stand together, battle ready. They walk to the Woolworths counter, a sign, whites only. They take their seats. No French fries and Coke are served. White men surround them. Racial slurs land like bullets. White women crack eggs on their heads, throw pepper in their eyes. Hatred aimed like arrows finds its mark. More Black students come to more Southern towns. More counters labeled whites only. Jim Crow is screaming now in the spittle of white men and women, in the blows of batons held by armed police, keeping the peace in 1960. In 1960, I sat, sipping my Coke, spinning on a red vinyl stool, unaware of other counters in Southern towns. Towns where students were dragged off their red vinyl stools, beaten and bloodied, ready to rise again. Young Black women and men asking for the right to sit at the counter, to drink from the fountain, rights promised, like other treaties written, promised, not delivered. Summertime, 1960. Summertime when the living is easy. Change is in the air. Signs come down. Lunch counters in Southern towns begin serving Black men and women stopping by for a Coke and fries. Thank you.
Sad, sad, sad stories. Stories that gotta have the endings changed. We're still working on it.
Yeah,
Thank you, Joanne.
thank you.
Candy Johansen. Where there you are, my friend.
Hello, I am here. All right, I have two poems, and my first poem, I'm hoping I can get through it without choking up. I wrote this after my friend of over 40 years and I had a falling out, and this is the poem. We were 6. It was the first day of kindergarten, and you were scared and crying. I sat on the rug next to you at morning meeting and held your hand. I will be your best friend if you want. Always, always. Pinky swear, pinky swear. In 6th grade, there was a boy that I liked, and we knew that he liked someone else. But you gave him the note anyway. He laughed. Later, you sat on my bed and held my hand while I cried. At least we still have each other. BFFs forever. Promise? Promise. Pinky swear? Pinky swear. In high school, you joined the band, and I was in the school play. You became a cheerleader, and I joined the astronomers club. The years passed, and we went our separate ways. Each of us caught up in schoolwork, boyfriends, and college applications. Now and then we would pass each other in the hall, and we would stick out our little fingers and shout, "Pinky swear!" before moving on. I went to college. You married your high school sweetheart. I moved across the country. You stayed in our hometown. I came home each time to welcome your sweet babies into the world. We would smile at each other and reach across the bassinet and whisper, "Pinky swear." Babies grew into adults. Weddings came and went. Grandchildren were born, and we sent Christmas cards, birthday cards, congratulation cards filled with love and signed Pinky swear. One day was all it took. One word, one disagreement, one moment of disbelief because of one man. It all changed. We changed. A lifelong friendship strained to the breaking point. Both of us insisting we were right. Neither of us willing to change our minds, our hearts. No matter the anger, no matter the sadness, no matter the pain. My heart hurts. I don't blame you. I don't blame me. I blame him. I thought we would always be friends. I thought we would always be. I thought we would always. I thought we would. I thought we. I thought. I pinky swear. So that's that. Now, for a more, I don't know if you call it upbeat or whatever, but I do write children's books and stuff and poetry for children. So this, because Halloween is coming up, I thought this would be kind of like uplifting, sort of. It's called Bedtime Monsters. A kiss on the cheek and a pat on the head covers up to my chin, all tucked in my bed. The door has been closed, the light's out for the night, and I lie all alone, my eyes wide open with fright. Because I know once it's dark, the end could be near, and I hear them start chuckling as I shiver with fear. For under my bed is the sorriest lot of creatures most foul that were ever begot. And though I know Mom would say such imagination, they still slobber and drool in gleeful anticipation. I've counted and named every last one, though I guarantee the process was no kind of fun. There are 12 in residence under my bed, waiting and wondering when next they'll be fed. And as long as I toss them some raw meat or a bone, I found they're more likely to leave me alone. I feed them in order from 12 down to 1 and call out their names till the last one is done. There's Garbage Gut, Toad Face, and Slime Bucket too, Snot Nose and Four Eyes, and Salamander Sue. Rat Tail starts fighting Bilge Breath and Snark, while Slug Bug and Horseface chow down in the dark. The only one finally left to be fed is a big ugly creature I simply call Fred. When they're done with their feast and finally quiet, and my bed has stopped bouncing with the end of the riot, then I'm finally secure in the knowledge that I have once again been lucky enough not to die. After my monsters all promise they won't make a peep, then at last my eyes close as I drift off to sleep.
Yay, Candy, thank you. I'm glad you ended with that one.
Yeah, I know. I had to end upbeat. I had to.
There's nothing worse than losing a best friend.
And yeah, it's been like for over 50 years, and it happens. What can you say?
I know. So hard.
Yeah.
Thank you, my dear. Joyce Wilson.
Okay, I'm going to read one poem. Joyce Wilson is my name. I've been working on this for a while. It's for Black Lives Matter, and I keep tweaking it. But what I heard that day on the news, Ferguson, Missouri, August 9th, 2014. I heard the mother of Michael Brown speak up. Her neighbors stood behind her, holding her, to keep her from falling into the crowds, so that she would not be denied the chance to tell about her son who lay nearby. She asked us, "Do you know how hard it was? Do you know how hard it was to keep my son in school, to get him to finish, to tell him it was good to graduate? 12 years of classes, diploma, and then, do you know how hard that it was for him to do the work for credit and degree, where praise is private for the family? Do you know how hard that it is," she cried, "to educate a young Black man in this small town of Ferguson in Missouri, where city planning schemed to drive us out from downtown affluence and jobs and stores to suburbs where we couldn't work, couldn't drive, couldn't shop, and couldn't leave? We have the village here to raise this child. We have his mother here, his teachers here. Police are here, the law is here. Do you know how very hard that it was, she cried, to tell him that he shouldn't lie? Decide each day to make his effort worth a try, to eat his breakfast, take the test, to rest. Do you know how hard it was, she cried? He had the motivation and the pride. He worked for that diploma, then he died.
Thank you. Beautifully said, Joyce. Thank you so much. Patricia Austin, you are up, my friend.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Okay, so you can hear me this time. That's good. My name is Patricia Austin, and I'm going to read a poem called In the Time of Wakening. In the time of wakening, coming to the world of senses, blinded to the largeness of sight, which comprises complications of dimensional dwarfing, there is the awareness of a scent, completely unrecognizable in the collision of worlds all too familiar. The sound and vibration of a mysterious motor, the sound that no one can comprehend. What is that? And how is it made? Does anyone yet know the answer? Accompanied by slide along body, side, arm, the sucking swoosh of the down spout. Or is that purely psychological? In wordless communique, cold, wet, nostrils sniffing, nostrils. Oh, it's the cat. Sniff kissing to consciousness the giant creature it commands, rendering return to the tiny, wordless, yet emphatic. I'll take that breakfast now. Any objections? Oh, by the way, you may want to check my box. So, you know, a little cat humor here. Sometimes my cat is just a cat. Then suddenly, an ancient Indian sage watching the world through eyes beyond time. And what I'm going to do is read a poem. Because I got an email today. Well, first of all, I just want to make sure everybody knows a couple things. Do you all know that the poet Brandon Leake, he's a performance poet and a professor and all of that. He won the America's Got Talent program last night. It's the first time a spoken word performer has even been allowed to be on it, let alone win it. And so he's going to have a show in Las Vegas. I mean, a great place for spoken word, but it's a really wonderful thing. And he's a beautiful young black man who, in the course of that show, and I don't watch TV, but my brother makes sure I see some of these things. He really portrayed what is going on with the Black Lives program right now, with the Black Lives protests, etc. And he was wonderful. So if you get a chance to look him up, his name is Brandon Leake. And I got an email earlier today from Long Pasture Wildlife Sanctuary, which I don't know if you all know that, but it's the second mass Audubon sanctuary here on the Cape. It's in the Mid Cape and the Upper Cape, and all of the Upper Cape sanctuaries like Ashumet Holly in Falmouth are under their umbrella. And so they have a capital campaign going on, and they're only about $10,000 short from what I understand. So if anybody has nothing to do with some money, send it to Long Pasture right now, because everything is being matched. The poem that I'm going to recite here is a poem called Terrapinski, and it's a poem that I wrote for one of the diamondback terrapins that we had started for the town of Barnstable. And that's one of the things that wildlife sanctuaries like Long Pasture do. And it's so important right now because there are so many endangered species, but there are so many environmental laws that have just been destroyed in the last short period of time, as we all probably understand. Anyway, this is called Terrapinski. Diamondback terrapin, endangered species. Turtle hatchling, tiny, innocent. Eyes that know with childlike awareness, penetrating mind, able to connect with kindness, preparing self to work the forces of the world, saved from being breakfast for bird, raccoon, or even chipmunk, rescued when the size of a quarter by government-sponsored head starting with intent of safe return to the wild, having grown too large for the predator's swallow. Loved by keepers in momentary sanctuary, even though loving the wild is not ascribed. Released back into the great marsh to reproduce and multiply, alive, we hope, in his own world, despite the danger. I named him Terrapinski, an extraordinary creature.
Thank you, Patricia. I'm sorry, some kind of not good magic happened and I suddenly went poof and disappeared, but I finally figured out how to get back on. You know what? I see Christina's here, but Larry Lobert and friends, you have been waiting patiently until the very end here. So I think we're going to let them go now as planned, and then Christina will catch you up right after they're done, okay?
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm Larry Lobert, and this is Eric Frakes, who you didn't meet earlier. He's my neighbor, and he's the real musician. He is with a band called Rosetta Pebble, and they have a bunch of albums. He's the real musician. My son is also making some percussive noise here. So I'm kind of stuck in a 60s mode, I guess, from way back, and I have kind of a one-track mind a little bit right now. My anti-muse, this song is about. It'll become very clear. It's called Shutting Down. 1, 2, 3. When the thief has claimed the temple and everything's for sale. When the nation's getting sick and freedom's getting frail. When the cook becomes the jailer, when the just become the jail. It's time to shut him down. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. subverted to steal another win. Democracy's perverted by the enemy within. Injustice is the servant of an evil twin. It's time to shut him down. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. It's time to shut him down. When cops are sent to crush dissent by secretive decree, and all the cronies cower in their fear to disagree. When a country's crying out, we can barely breathe. It's time to shut him down. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. It's time to shut him down. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. It's time to shut him down. When the lady dressed as liberty wears a strange disguise, when she blocks a fleeing refugee with terror in her eyes. When a cage becomes the welcome mat, her tooth becomes his eyes. It's time to shut him down. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. It's time to shut him down. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. It's time to shut him down. When senators and congressmen lost all sense of pride, their fingers in the air, the wind their only guide. It's time to be the hurricane, to be the rising tide. It's time to shut him down. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. Shut him down. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. Shut him down. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. Shut him down, shut him down, shut him down, shut him down. It's time to shut him down.
Hey, I agree wholeheartedly. And I when you started singing, I realized what the sign behind you said.
Yeah, studio recording of it a while ago, and it's out there. So, but thanks very
You
much.
can find it on YouTube.
You
Yes.
can.
Shut
and
it
I'll-
down.
Okay.
Shut
everywhere.
him down.
You'll find it
Yes.
everywhere. Yeah.
We shall look for it. Thank you, Larry and Eric and Grant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right, Christina, glad to see you. There you go.
You hear me? Sorry, I had a little interruption here. A friend dropped by at the last minute, and I was not able to get on. But yeah, so I have a new poetry book coming out called Purr Poems, P-U-R-R, Poems, Kittens and Cats is the title. So I thought I'd read a couple of poems from that, if it's okay. They're short and long. This is a short one. It's called Homeward Bound. Wandering at dusk, in and out of gray shadows, Mehitable the black cat returns home. And this is a long poem in the same book, Purr Poems, Kittens and Cats. This should be coming out in November, I think. And it's called Entitlement. When the moon was full and the coyote yowled, I crept out of the dark bushes, full of curiosity. I followed a stream of light, an open window. In I hopped. If I were not such a good jumper, I might not have met her. Gentle eyes, soft voice. She laughed at me as if it were natural for a cat to steal into her house through a window. Just think. Had I not crept through that window that frosty night, when the wind embraced the pines, casting weird shadows on the snow. My paws might have frozen, my ears might have frosted. And today I would have no fine, soft bed. I would have no tasty meals each day. No more mice or moles for me. Now I slip onto her chair as she reads and lovingly strokes me. And I'll read another one here. It's called Stretching Into Day, this sort of middle-sized poem here. Golden sun peeks through my window, awakens me in silence, spreading light across my bed. It warms marble, snuggling beside my leg. Slowly I stretch, listening for the sounds of birds, humming fall sounds from the woods. Tourists gone, children in school. Well, so much for that one with COVID, but children in school. I feel the tug of coolness pulling me into day. And a third one. Do I have time for another one? It's called The Banquet. My editor did not like this at all. She thought this was not a nice poem, but I like it a lot. It's called The Banquet. The rabbit lies inert on the lawn, an island of beige and white in a sea of deep green grass. The cat brought it back from the fields last night. The crows jump from limb to limb, cawing to each other in discernibly different tones. They drop, first one, then three, to the grass below. Charging across the lawn, they find their meal. With cynical, crooked beats, they attack fur and bone. The cat, crouched on the windowsill, observes the feast, arches her back, and settles down. She seems satisfied with her contribution to the feast. And one more, which is one of my favorites in this book, that will be available in November, I hope. It's called In the City. Under the sunshine of a city sidewalk, an old man, hair disheveled, beard curled and knotted, sleeps crouched on a hissing gate. A thin, worn blanket covers his body. A cardboard box is his pillow. He snores sonorously. A bushy black coon cat slips into the crook of his arm. So, you want me to read one more? Do I have time for one more?
Sure, one more. Good.
One more? Okay, oops, where is it? It's called Stretching Into Day. Golden sun peeks through my window, awakens me in silence, spreading light across my bed. It warms marble snuggling beside my bed. Slowly I stretch, listening for sounds of birds, humming fall songs into the woods. Tourists, oh, I read this before. Tourists gone, children in school. I feel the tug of coolness pulling me into day. And then I read that, I'm sorry. You can cut that out. And then I have just a couple. Just before dawn, the backyard spotlight shines. Cat stalks her prey. It's a haiku. And then it's just a smaller, shorter one. Fat robin warbles. Special concert for tiger cat. The reward, he pounces. Through the tall grass meanders the old cat, looking satisfied. So those are a few of the poems that will be in that book. Thanks, Donna.
Congratulations on your publication.
Thank you.
So awesome. I don't have kitties anymore. I have a dog, but I love cats, so I can't wait to see you. Thank you. I'm going to close with a shorty. before I read it, how many people, raise your hand, how many people like to write letters? Okay. How many people like to receive letters? Oh, of course you do. I wrote this during the initial tense happening surrounding our beloved United States Postal Service, and it's called First Class. A row of mini bank vaults, copper-bound, entranced by a tiny key. Through the square of glass, I spy the crisp white edge of possibility. A gift packaged in a tidy white envelope. Small rectangle of corner art, its lacy edge floating in waves of wet red cancellation. And my grandmother's spidery scrawl, recognized long before I could read. Over the years, mail slots yawn. Tin cereal boxes hang outside the front door. Metal bread boxes squat on posts and poles, raise red flags signaling the papery packet eager to shake hands with the carrier. My first hero. In shorts or furry ear flaps, in whistle or hum, striding strong or hanging one honest arm out the window. He is the emissary between me and my far-flung kin. I love the post office. All right. Well, you are incredible. You are talented. And I am so glad you were able to join us. Thank you for your participation in this virtual poetic license. If you have any feedback, if you want to talk about something you like or something you want to change, you can email Andrew at andrew@fctv.org. Guess what? The next poetic license is on Thursday, October 22nd. And I invite you all to come in costume, light a pumpkin, dazzle us, but October only comes around once a year, and it's my favorite holiday, Halloween. So thank you, Andrew. Huzzah to the performers. We're grateful you're here, and please, friends, be well until we meet again, okay?